Where did the word politics come from? We can thank the Greek philosopher Aristotle. He was born in 384 BCE. That's almost 2,500 years ago. And one of his most important works, Politica, addressed different approaches to government. What is a government? There are many kinds of government and different systems of democracy, which I shall discuss later. But generally, when we speak of the government, we mean the people who are responsible for running a country and the systems on which they rely to do so. And here's a quote from Pericles, an ancient Greek politician born in 495 BCE who died in 429 BCE. Just because you do not take an interest in politics, he said, doesn't mean politics won't take an interest in you. So why should we care about politics? Well, the decisions made in politics have an impact on us whether we like it or not. So surely it makes sense to try to have a say in those decisions, to try to have an influence on them. We can't all be Prime Minister, but we can all play a part in politics. I want to help you work out what that might mean for you. Politics affects us all. If I listed all of the things that are decided by politicians, and especially by the government, I would need a lot more than a few pages. I'd need whole books. But here are a few of the big issues you might care about where politics plays a major role. Education. How much money is spent on schools? What and how you learn? How much you should pay for university? How much teachers earn? The environment. How to keep air, seas and rivers clean. How to meet climate targets to help the planet. Health and welfare. How many doctors and nurses there are and how much they're paid, whether to invest in new hospitals and treatments. The economy, how much money the country borrows, how high our taxes are. Work, rights at work, help getting work, how to make work pay better than benefits. Defence, how big the Army, Navy and Air Force are, whether to go to war. Law and order, how to prevent and punish crime, how many police we need. Housing, how to help people with nowhere to live, how many new houses we need and where to build them. Culture, how much to invest in theatres, libraries, museums and sport and make them all accessible. Transport, how much it costs to use trains and buses, where roads, railways and airports are built. I asked Mete Koban, CEO of My Life, My Say, a youth-led movement encouraging young people to get fully involved in democracy and trying to get every single young person voting, all about politics. And here's what he had to say. What got you interested in politics, Mete? In my teens, my local youth club on our council estate was shut down after 35 years. It was like a second home for me and many of my friends. It was a shock to everyone, and no one in power lifted a finger. The whole estate felt powerless. That moment made me realise that unless people who look and sound like me get involved in politics, no one will be there to voice the views of my community. I've been a political activist ever since, and I became a councillor at 21. Do you want to be an MP? One day, yes, I do. I founded My Life, My Say when I was 20 because I wanted to bring about change for those who feel voiceless. I ran to be a councillor because I wanted to support my community. Entering politics at a national level would let me do all that and more. Do you understand why some young people have lost faith in the system? Yes, there's a lot to be angry about, but not engaging in the system only helps those who want young people to stay away from politics. The more young people say politics doesn't matter, the less the politicians will care what they think. They listen to pensioners, that's for sure. And what do you say to young people who say their opinion doesn't matter? That it can and it will if you decide that it will, and it won't if you turn away. Because if you don't do politics, politics will still do you. Housing, work, education, climate, whatever issues a young person cares about, politics is at the heart of them all. So everyone should try to have a say. How can young people get their voice heard? At the very least, be registered to vote so that your presence is felt, and politicians will have no choice but to create policies that appeal to young people. If we fail to engage, we risk leaving a few people to continue making decisions that serve their own interests, while the rest of us live with the consequences. Thank you, Mete, for those thoughts.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.